Hello, everyone. My name is Madison Nielson. I just want to thank you so much for coming out and looking at my research. I know that it means a lot to us undergrads that you come out and support us. My research project was narrative analysis of Surviving R. Kelly. Surviving R. Kelly is a 6-episode documentary series that chronicles the stories of women through interviews who have been victims of sexual, physical, and mental violence allegedly by R. Kelly. All survivors being women of color, the media paid less attention to their suffering and instead focused on the career of R. Kelly. Narrative analysis is used to critique a text by breaking it down into essential elements of getting a story across. These elements are important to look at when dissecting this text and understanding the impact that R. Kelly's actions have had and the inaction of the public in support of the survivors. Each element is integral in creating a timely documentary that dives into domestic abuse, the lives of women of color, and discrimination, an important story to tell. The events of the case against R. Kelly surround the progression of his alleged abuse and the actions others have taken to get justice. Each character has been victimized by Kelly, and telling their story becomes the center of the text. The narrative of the characters and events leads to a consensus that how the women's testimonies were handled would be due to R. Kelly's fame and fortune and the race of his victims. Aaliyah begins working with R. Kelly in the early stages in both their careers, and they develop a deep bond. But R. Kelly is 27 and Aaliyah is 15. The media ignores it. R. Kelly has papers forged in order to marry Aaliyah, changing her age. Here we see that Kelly is willing to break the law in order to carry on a relationship with an underage girl. A scandal breaks when a video of R. Kelly has surfaced of him performing sexual acts and urinating on an underage girl. He is taken to court on counts of child pornography, but the victim and her family in the case were unwilling to confirm that it was her in the tape, and he was found not guilty. Now the allegations against R. Kelly have been legally denied. The parents of Jocelyn Savage have made appearances in the media speaking out because R. Kelly has cut her off completely from having contact with them, and they are afraid of the abuse that is happening in the relationship. She claims she wants no communication with them. They believe her response was scripted. He is using his control over the women to keep them from hurting his already damaged reputation. At the Coachella Festival in 2018, rapper Vince Staples comments that R. Kelly is a child molester and that people have let him hide behind his career. This was the first time someone had spoken about R. Kelly in this way that gained attention. The Me Too movement emphasized the importance of the allegations against R. Kelly and what that implies about the value of the women's stories. The significance of the events that lead to the making of this documentary are highlighted to create a complete narrative of the progression of R. Kelly's alleged abuse and how he was able to get away with it for 40 years. Close persons to R. Kelly during his childhood shared stories of what he was like as a child and the process of him blooming as an artist and starting a career. Those around him at this point were not thinking about his actions with underage girls that would go on for years. Javante Cunningham meets R. Kelly at the age of 14 and catches on that he is sleeping with her underage friends, but because she felt she could be successful, she ignored it. Andrea Lee married R. Kelly at age 19, but was unaware of the underage girls he was also sleeping with because he cut her off from everything. Lisa Van Allen met Kelly at age 17 when she was an extra in his music video. They began seeing each other. He cut her off from speaking to her mother. She knew the girl in the sex tape because she was also forced to sleep with her. These women are important in understanding the scope of his abuse and the power he held over them. The parents of Dominique Gardner, Jocelyn Savage, and Azrael Clary are currently working to get their daughter out from under R. Kelly's control. The parents as characters in this documentary add an important perspective to the narrative that invokes feelings of needing to act right now to save the daughters' lives from a monster. The survivors are the focus of the show because it is for them and other girls who've allegedly been psychologically manipulated by R. Kelly to feel that their stories are important and that we believe them. R. Kelly had a team of staff who helped him keep his alleged abuse under wraps. The narrative of the survivors was silenced up to this point because society did not want to face the fact that someone who had made music that was important to them could also be a heinous abuser. Jamila, a show commentator, feels like they are taking a stand against black girls. And Craig Williams, music producer, notes that if it were white children that were being molested by a black man in this case, I'm sure R. Kelly would have gone to jail very swiftly. With his use of power and ability thus far to silence the women's narrative, escape and justice is of less importance to the perception of society compared to his career. Without this narrative, the truth would still be hidden and R. Kelly could continue. But his victims are willing to come forward to protect other women. It is also evident that a truth in this case is that the women's stories were not taken seriously. But with education, the problem can be faced head on. The themes of surviving R. Kelly, power, silence, escape, and truth, wrap the impact of the documentary into two subjects: R. Kelly's ability to stay out of trouble with the allegations made, and the racism that is noticeable because of the lack of support to find the women justice. Using narrative analysis, I was able to pull apart the most important story elements that were apparent in surviving R. Kelly. Each event adds a new layer to point out what R. Kelly has done for decades and how he maintained his innocence. Also interweaved is how society responded to these accusations, which was to continue to support R. Kelly as an artist. The characters are looking to expose him to get the justice they have been working on. The theme is that with the stories of the women involved being told to the public, R. Kelly will go down for his actions, and the societal problem of not taking women of color stories seriously can be worked on.